Xin chào, what's up everybody? Alright, we are in beautiful Phnom Penh, Cambodia. We're on the riverside. We are going to talk about Cambodia versus Vietnam today. Primarily Saigon versus Phnom Penh. Pros, cons, differences, similarities. We're going to try to break it all down. There's been a request for this video, so as always, give the people what they want. You request something, you get it. All the rest of the content in Cambodia will be shot on the Sony ZV-1 in 4K. The reason we're here longer is we got a donation from someone to stay longer and document more things in Cambodia. So that's just what we're gonna do. Probably gonna be out of here end of the weekend, maybe Monday. Not too sure. This video will come out today, so it's date friendly. It's Tuesday, I do believe. Check that. But yeah, what's the similarities, what's the differences, what's the cost breakdown, should you come here, should you stay here? We already kind of did a video for this, but somebody asked me to do one exactly like Vietnam versus Cambodia. While they are completely different places, you know, they've got more like a temple Thailand vibe compared to Vietnam is more like a almost China temple pagoda thing. So there's some strong differences. The first thing we can talk about is the weather is very, very similar. Currently here it's a bit more hotter than what it is in Saigon, but it seems that they achieve about the same weather conditions. So if you're comfortable in Saigon, you'll be comfortable in Phnom Penh. As far as lifestyle and living goes, well, if you're a person that likes to go out and party, Phnom Penh does have its limitations right now. It's not very party going on the weekdays. Well, when Saigon pre-COVID, you know, you can go and party whenever you want. It's pretty much, there's always somewhere to find some kind of something going on till however late you want something. And I'm sure that's actually a strong, excuse the wind, nothing I can do. I'm sure that there's probably places here that you can find during the week. I so far really haven't. Basak Lane, their essential like Oi Vane pretty much is dead on the weekdays. It's really only hopping on Friday and Saturday, sometimes Sunday nights. There's a lot of bars on this riverside area here, but truthfully it's just a lot of older gentlemen hanging out, like some older guys. So I mean, if you are an older guy, you would probably really like this riverside area all the way down. I did not expect all this, right? Jolly. Or all this wind. Hope it's not really affecting the camera too much. So I think as far as nightlife goes, I think that Vietnam takes the victory there. There's much more stuff to do in Vietnam, in my opinion, than there is in Saigon than there is in Phnom Penh. I'm sure some of you that have been coming here a long time know of all these areas, but if you're not actively here now, a lot of the stuff you once knew, if you haven't been back, is closed. So I had a lot of recommendations from people, and I would go to look up the places, and you know, they were closed. So a lot of things did close here, just like what happened in Saigon. So you have to be ready for that type of deal. But yeah, I would take Saigon over the nightlife. Now as far as the cost of living goes, it's a bit higher here that I have found. I've found it's about 10% higher across the board for pretty much a lot of things. There are 75-cent beers, but it's not as prolific as they were before. There's spots that have them, but on median a beer is $1 to $1.50 now. Basak Lane is pretty expensive for any kind of mixed drink. It's anywhere from, you know, $4 to $6. So if you drink mixed alcohol, it's definitely going to be a little bit more pricey than Saigon. So like the cost for an apartment, pretty comparable. You can get a pretty, you know, cheap, bare bones, basic apartment for $250. You know, you're talking just a basic bed. I think even some were saying $200, but $250 seems to be the medium price for a a cheaper apartment here. And that's just a basic bed, you know, maybe you'll get a window, maybe not. Basic shower, and depending on the location as well. And the wind is really wrecking this video. I hope it's not windy the whole time on it. Some pretty strong headwinds. Can't win them all. This is life. It was windy nowhere else but over here, so kind of funny. Now if you want like a decent apartment where you get more amenities, like the place we just filmed, that $34 place, that place had units available for $450. They're all booked now, and then they had some higher end ones at $650. So it seems it goes anywhere from $250 to $650, and then I'm sure it goes even higher as you get more high end. So it's very comparable to Vietnam. Saigon's rent, you know, rent in Saigon's down right now, pretty much across the board everywhere except for District 1, or unless you've been in a long-term lease and you're going to re-sign a new lease. You've got a little bit of bargaining power then, because they just don't want to worry about renting out the unit again. But I suspect in Vietnam that will change on March 15th. A lot of people keep asking if that's official. It is official. The document is out. They just haven't announced what the official guidelines are going to look like yet. You can look at the documents. It's on my last post for the live stream. That is a red stamped official government document. They are opening March 15th. They are going to do a one-day quarantine if you're vaccinated and require a rapid test at the hotel. Then you're free to go walk around. They're saying they're going to issue all visas like it was pre-COVID. So however your visa situation went in your country of origin pre-COVID, that's how they'll be doing it again. And that stuff is not official yet. I suspect in the next upcoming days, they wanted to push through the official, yes, we're going March 15th document to have all these places prepared, hotels, etc., etc., etc. So, which makes sense. So as far as the cost of living goes, I think Vietnam also wins Saigon. Now this is based on my experience, my spending here versus Saigon. I'm sure some people have found cheaper things, and people are gonna, in the comment section, have to disagree with me, which is fine. If you're gonna do that, go ahead and state what you spend, etc., 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 and yeah, we'll compare notes in the comment section. As far as cell phone goes, it's pretty cheap here. It's pretty affordable. 40 gigabytes a month is $7 on a pretty reliable network. Most of you guys won't need more than 40 gigabytes. I've plowed through about 25 gigabytes since we've been live streaming, so I've still got plenty left. But that's very comparable to Vietnam's. In Vietnam, I paid for 20 gigabytes a day. That's 20 gigabytes a day because I was live streaming a lot. I paid $500K a month, so around 20 bucks. But that's 20 gigabytes a day. I imagine something like 40 gigabytes would be not much. $5, $6, $7. So very close to the same kind of pricing there. As far as food goes, the Western food here is a tad bit better from what I have experienced, but it is a tad bit more expensive. Not by much. I would say maybe like 10%. It's not a lot. It's like not a crazy number that's higher. It's just slightly higher. But the food here is very good. I think because they cater even more to tourists here, that they've really, you know, got their Western style food down. I have not had any really bad meals here, just those ribs, and that's it. As far as the Khmer food, anytime I eat the street food, it does run wild in me for a day or two. I take the charcoal medicine, but I've tried 4 different places, and I'm not going to try a 5th because it takes me out for a day or at least a half a day, which I did not expect that to happen. You know, I'm eating at places that are completely full. I know the rule. You look for restaurants that are completely packed, and that's where you eat. The reason we went to that rib joint is because it's like the highest rated ribs on TripAdvisor and Google and all that. But I feel that they probably didn't get a fair handshake, probably because they're still suffering from corona, you know, aka damage. So they're probably making those ribs early in the morning, just setting them in foil. She didn't reheat them properly. You know, the mac and cheese was just a lazy mac and cheese. There wasn't much cheese in it. Like, they pulled the cheese probably to save a little bit of money. which is understandable. Cheese is not cheap. As far as accessibility to good food though, very much good food if you like Western food. And they have Vietnamese food. You know, I had a bowl of pho. It wasn't, you know, a record-setting pho or anything, but it was an okay pho. It got me through what I needed to go through, you know. And then as far as groceries cost, very comparable to Vietnam as well. I'd say a 5% margin higher. I haven't bought any groceries, but I went and walked around the grocery store. We're gonna go to the other Aeon Mall. Supposedly it has an aquarium and stuff, so we'll take a look at that. The Aeon Mall is nearly identical to the one that's in Vietnam, and probably identical to all Aeon malls around the world. It's a Japanese mall chain, so. As far as the people go, the Khmer people are very nice. I find it also very comparable to Vietnamese people. They're very friendly. People will invite you for a beer to sit down. People will even invite you into their family's house for dinner. My tuk-tuk driver's always wanting me to go over his house and eat dinner and stuff, but it's really not my lane of content. And he always wants to go do nefarious things, so I don't know how much I really trust him. I'm not a very naive guy. I'm more on the always kind of watch what you're doing. People can be sketch, especially in foreign countries. But for the most part, you know, I have not had any issues with anybody. Everybody's friendly. Almost 80% of the expats are pretty friendly. We certainly bumped into some Karens and Chads on Bossock Lane a few weeks ago. If you want to see that, that's on the Patreons only. They're definitely here because you just have like a melting pot of people here right now. People are from all over the country. There's people here from France, Norway, Germany. I haven't met too many Americans. People say they meet them, but Canada, I mean, every country's here. India, I've met someone from every country pretty much. And for like the most part, 90% of the time, they're super cool people. Russian people, I mean, all kinds of really cool stories. Like a lot of people that are freshly traveling again after 2 years. A lot of people that got exited from Vietnam or other places that kind of got pushed out of China, maybe Chinese teachers. I've met a lot of people like that. They've all been super friendly. As far as the walkability of the city, very much so the same as Saigon. I walk everywhere here. I'd say it's a little bit smaller of a city from what I can tell. I haven't really gone over to this place too much. People say to kind of stay away from it. It's the shadier area, but I think I'm gonna rent a motorbike tomorrow, head over the bridge, and we'll take a little adventure over there. There's possibility I might go to Kampot, but Siem Reap's out. I'm not gonna take a 9-hour bus. That's just not gonna happen. I have no interest in taking a 9-hour bus. 2 7-hour buses were bad enough, and then if I go to Kampot, it's another 7-hour bus. But Kampot interests me very much, so I think there could be some pretty interesting content there before I go home. So yeah, the walkability is pretty high. There's not a place that I really don't walk, to be honest with you. And it's pretty enjoyable walk. It's the same as Saigon. It's really hot. I'll bring another shirt with me. And then when I get to my destination, I'll change shirts and try to dry the other one to wear that. As far as meeting people, very simple right now. I'm sure it'll get better and better as it goes, but you just find a hostel you like. Like I go to Wonders a lot and just hang out at Wonders. Everybody there is really nice. I kind of got like a little crew over there now. We all hang out and bullshit and drink beers and stuff like this. Beers are pretty affordable, $1. But it's pretty easy to be active here. This park on the riverside, as you see, we purposely chose this to tour. It's got a full workout center here. Asian workout, but I mean, if you body resistance, it's good training. So, but it's got a really nice walkability score. Now, as far as safety and crime, that's just going to be another video. I'm going to shoot a secondary video on that because that's a 10-minute subject on its own. So we'll do that in a video probably directly after this, why this information is good in my head. But so far, I really like it. Like, if we're gonna do a rating score, you know my rating score for food, I would give Phnom Penh a 7.9. 7.9. I'm sure people are going to rate it higher depending on their experiences here and stuff like this, but for me, it's a solid 7.9. It's a good, fun place to be. I think you would be okay here being for a month or two if you're waiting to get into Vietnam. And as far as teaching goes, that's the last thing we can cover. It's fairly easier to get a teaching job here than it is in, say, Vietnam. Especially if you're a qualified teacher with actual qualifications, you should have no problem. People are saying you just need a TEFL. I don't know of anyone that's getting a job currently with just a TEFL. So it could be possible, but I know 2 people that applied to like 50 different schools, and they've all been required to have some form of college education. Doesn't matter that it's on the topic, but just some form of college education. Beautiful river right here. So yeah, it's just super comparable and then super different at the same time, you know. The differences are really the food. The Khmer food is much blander. It's very much based and looks like a lot of like what Vietnamese food is, but it's just blander. Like the banh mi is really no good here. It just isn't the same. The bread isn't the same. It looks almost the same, but it just doesn't taste as good. At least I haven't found one that tastes particularly great. You know, I've had all their noodle dishes, rice dishes. They're very similar. Fried rice, fried chicken, vegetable, seafood, fried rice. They do have a bit more of a curry in their food, which is fine. I like the curry. The green curry they have here, so that's not actually particularly too bad of a meal. You know, it's a very comparable place, and I think you could have a good time here for a month or two. And I do 100% believe Vietnam is 100% opening as of March 15th. There is absolutely no doubt about that. The documentation is out. Everybody's getting ready to go with it. I mean, there's a little bit of caveats. You know, they've got the 1-day quarantine, but most of you guys are going to be jet lagged anyway, so what's the big deal with a 1-day quarantine? But I found a lot of friends here. I've had a really good time here. I'll be back to Cambodia, probably not really anytime soon. We're talking years. You know, I did what I needed to do here. I saw what I needed to see. I know Siem Reap is really cool. Everybody says it is, but for me, I don't need to necessarily go there right now. Kampot would be where I'd want to go. Hang out in a little village, get a decent little hotel, do a few days of content here. That would be kind of interesting to me. I'm trying to turn my back to block the wind. I just hope the wind didn't jack up this whole video. But yeah, like, as we're looking at here, these bars, like, genuinely, this is a 75-cent beer bar right here. It's usually a crowd over 50 years old, 50-year-old plus guys. And then all back here is all these girly bars where they're very aggressive, like in Thailand. They'll grab at you, all kinds of stuff. You know, if that's your thing, they've got that for you. And then Basak Lane, which we're gonna film again on this camera, just to show you all the places I like there and where to go. You'll see how that goes. It's just a it's like a corner of Bui Vinh. And these are really the 2 big party areas. I'm sure there's more areas. You know, I've gone to the BKK one area where they've got a little stretch of bars. It's very tiny as well. It's like from here down to here. I'll also film that for you guys too and show you the places I like there. There's a nice sports bar called Scores there, which one of the subscribers pointed me to. Thank you, buddy. I'm sure you're watching. But yeah, for the most part, everybody's been really friendly and great here. I've had no issues. And the crime video you'll find very interesting because most people think Cambodia is dangerous, etc. But I'm here to kind of tell you elsewise. We'll do a separate video on that. But I think we covered everything that I wanted to cover in this video. And I think it's a completely viable situation to hang out here until Vietnam opens, or even to move here and do like a 6-month to a year stint. I think if you moved around the country and you had enough money, I would say you're going to want to prepare $1,200 a month probably for spending if you're going out. If you're not going out at all and making your own food, it can be way lower. Ooh, I missed. I saw it coming though. You can probably be way lower than $1,200, but I've asked people, most people are spending $1,000, $1,200. I've spent about $1,000 since I've been here, so. All right guys, that's the video. I thank you for watching. I hope it brought you some information. If you want to know more things, just ask in the comment section. Leave comments, you know, that's how questions get answered. If you like the video, you can smash like buttons and all these things. If you didn't like it, smash dislikes. And if you want to subscribe, you can do that too. This is all up to you. So see you guys on the next one. Stay frosty. Thanks for watching. Peace out.